I'm Sophie, this is Workaway TV, and today I'll be talking to Sai, our Workawayer of the month.
So, where are you right now?
Well, I'm in India right now. So I was in Madrid a month back, then I returned here, and I've just come back from a short visit to Sri Lanka actually last week. So yeah, so I'm in India right now.
Oh, always moving then, always doing
Yeah.
something.
So I work as a client success manager. So I work with a tech startup in Amsterdam. Well, they have a really nice policy. So if I'm staying anywhere within the EU, I would have to come into the office just 4 times a year. So that's about it. And if I'm staying in the Netherlands, then I would have to come to office at least once a week. And if I'm staying in Amsterdam, I would have to come to office at least twice a week.
How did you kind of like negotiate with your boss that you were still going to be traveling and doing the kind of digital nomad thing?
Remote work is one of the biggest perks that they offer today if you just look at it, and there's absolutely no need to negotiate or kind of ask for this. It's something that's given. It's something that people offer to attract the best talent. So that was something really nice that I came across.
So what are your next kind of big travel plans?
My initial plan was to get back to Europe, start my work, and then I was thinking of traveling more to Eastern Europe because for the last year and a half, I've been traveling mostly in Western Europe and Central Europe. So now I'd like to go more to the eastern side of Europe and explore a few good cities there, maybe like Budapest and a few cities around there. So I was thinking with my work, maybe I could go there, stay a month in each different city. So that's my plan. I think in the next few months. After which I was thinking I'll go to South America for the winter months. When it's actually summer there. So I was thinking I'll have a nice hot Christmas if that works. But with the things coming up now, I'm really not sure if I can stick to this. So let's see.
No, you got to stay flexible, but it sounds like you've got some absolutely fantastic destinations in mind. So what motivated you to start using the Workaway site?
Yeah, I would say, well, the first time I actually came across or heard of the app was almost 5 years back. So I had this plan in my city where I did have my ancestral house that has been, passed on from my grandparents and their parents before. So it was a really nice setting. And I thought I could really kind of renovate it and, rent it out to a lot of tourists who visit India and my city especially. So I started doing that. And then I came across a few people who had introduced me to, volunteers who are really, who could help with these kind of projects and, it could be a good experience for them as well. So during this project, I came across a couple of volunteers who had mentioned about Workaway, and so that was the first time I came across the platform. But I would say the first time I actually, started using it was a couple of years later. So that was in Madrid when, during the COVID, I was kind of just sitting in my apartment all day long, and I thought it was a time when change in setting could be really useful for me. And so then I kind of remembered this Workaware and the platform that you suggested. So I went back to it, I had a look, and it looked really exciting. So that's how I started using it, and I started traveling. And I just never stopped for a year and a half. So I just kept going, going, going. Yeah, it was really exciting.
Oh, I love it because we've had a lot of volunteers who've gone on to become hosts, and you kind of did it backwards. You almost hosted with ours and then became a volunteer. Do you think that you'll ever host at your home in the future?
Well, I'm not really sure. As far as I'm concerned, I think for the next maybe 5 to 10 years, I just like to travel. So I don't see myself hosting in the near future. Maybe once I'm a bit older, and then if I'm really looking to stay in one place, I'd love to do that. I think that's like a way of traveling without actually moving. So I'd like to do that as well, maybe. But not really in the near future. No.
Yeah, no, that's a great way of putting it. So when you're looking on the site, how do you choose hosts? What kind of things do you look for in profiles?
But for me, the most important thing is change. So I don't. So I'm not really motivated by one kind of profiles or one kind of host. So I really like to change it up a lot. So for instance, if I have a host who's like a family and where I'm kind of working, doing a bit of gardening and stuff, the next host I really like to choose someone really different and have a very different setting. So it really varies from having a lot of change for me. So for instance, I've been in places where I'm with a lot of other workawayers, which I enjoy. But I feel if I'm in that kind of a setting for 4 weeks or 6 weeks, I'd really like to change it up. And for the next host, I try to look at a place where I can be maybe more peaceful and just with a couple of people. That's more kind of how I look at it. And of course, I try to have very different projects. So if I have been in one where it's gardening, the next one I'd like to maybe do it with animals here and the next one something else. So I just keep I just try to keep changing it up. So yeah, that's how I normally work.
Do you have any like top tips or words of wisdom for people who really want to do the digital nomad thing specifically?
From my experience, what I have seen is, when you're working for yourself, so if you're like a freelancer, you'd have to put in a lot more of your energy and your mind space into what you're doing. So for instance, if you're doing like digital marketing and you're a professional in that, you would have to spend your time and just your mind in trying to find customers. You'd have to really apply your mind for all of that, which I think when you're traveling you don't want to do. You just want to have a good time. So I think from that perspective, working for a company is really helpful, because 9 to 5 you get your work done and that's it. You don't really have to think about anything. You don't really have to, your sense of ownership is a lot lesser when you're working for someone else than working for yourself. So from that perspective, I think it works better for me when I'm working for a company. So that's something that I love.
I mean, I think that's like bang on advice, to be honest. I think that's definitely great advice. So how do you manage your money during your travels? You seem like you have your head on really straight about all this, so you seem like a good person to ask for advice.
Well, I would say the biggest help that Workaway does is it really helps you to travel on a budget. So I would say by using the platform by itself, I would say, you're really free with your money. So just by using the platform, I cut out like the two most like important costs, I would say, that any traveler has to face. That is, your stay and your food. So you're kind of eliminating these expenses by having new experiences, learning new things. So I would say it's kind of a real win-win there. So yeah, I didn't really have any kind of problems managing my money. I would say just by using the platform, I had a really good experience. So you have a lot of your money to just spend on traveling to nice places, and yeah, you're never hesitant to spend on anything that is really worth it. So in that way, yeah, I never really felt any real troubles with managing my money.
Nice. I'm glad to hear you got a good platform. I think you kind of already answered this one, but how long do you think you'll travel for? Like, do you think you'll ever actually settle down?
Well, I don't know. So, I mean, the way the world is going and the way I guess my life is going, I can't really, plan so much in ahead. But right now, with the mindset that I have, I think I'm just going to keep traveling as long as I can and as long as my body lets me and my work lets me. So even the job that I've taken, I've kept this in mind, seeing that, to find an employer who's really comfortable to let me work remotely, or yeah. So with respect to that, I'm quite have my mind focused on trying to travel as much as I can. So right now I'm 26. I'd like to continue doing this at least for the next 4 years. So if I have a plan in mind, I would say that's it. So at least until I'm 30, I don't really want to find a place for myself and find myself comfortable and just staying somewhere and yeah, just going through the daily routine. And I do have friends who always say this, hey, why can't you just find a place for yourself and stay somewhere, and you can always travel, maybe once or twice a year. I think that's what I'm going to be doing maybe for the rest of my life. In your 30s, you have a family, you're going to be settled in a place, and you're going to have trips and yeah, visit other places together. But yeah, I mean, I'm alone now, so I can have my freedom, and yes, I just want to try and travel as much as I can in the next 3-4 years. So I would say yeah, that's my plan.
Yeah, definitely caught the travel bug then, and it's very digital nomad vibes as well, which I really like. So last question, what is your number one bucket list destination?
Well, right now, I'd say the one thing that has been kind of in my mind, I would say two things. So one of the first things, that I was kind of looking at when I was looking to travel, abroad. When I say abroad, like before when I was in India, I was really a tourist. So I would go to other places, other countries, and I would just go around taking pictures, and yeah. So that was more or less what travel meant to me. But I would say the first time I really thought of doing something more, was when I was looking at Norway, I would say. And there's a trek that you can do, and you go to this place that's, they call it the Troll's Tongue. And that's now it's become like a very big tourist attraction in Norway. So I'd say that's one place I want to hike and just go there. I would say that's one. And the other place that I've recently been really thinking about is in the Bahamas, you have this option to swim with the sharks. So there's this beach in Nassau where, yeah, you can go and kind of swim with the sharks. I think that's pretty exciting, and maybe yeah, one day I'd really like to do that as well.
Oh wow! So you've got Northern Lights or swimming with sharks.
Yeah,
you like to mix it up, don't you? Well, it's been absolutely lovely chatting to you. I wish you the best of luck with your new job, and we'll be really excited to see more of your adventures when you're traveling again. Thanks for watching at home. We hope you enjoyed it. It's Workaway TV, and we'll be back next month with another Workawayer of the month. Bye.
Cheers.